Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to the Jerez circuit for the penultimate event of the 2017 Euroformula Open season. This the 14th of 16 races. We've got 18 laps around the sinuous Jerez circuit to look forward to. Already the champion has been decided in the form of Harrison Scott, but we've got the rookie champion and the rest of the classification to sort out. Well, it's a warm welcome from myself, Ben Evans, as you join us on an absolutely beautiful day here in Andalusia, with the air temperature nudging towards 30 degrees. The sun has been pounding down all weekend, and therefore the spectators have got plenty to enjoy as the pit lane is open and the cars taking to the circuit. Yesterday's race was claimed, almost inevitably, by Harrison Scott, the British driver who claimed the championship a week ago in Monza, continuing his formidable winning streak, and he was able to negotiate an early and a late race safety car to take, in the event, a fairly comfortable victory over Devlin De Francesco and Nikita Troitsky. And it is indeed Scott who lines up once more from pole position this afternoon after another very impressive performance in qualifying. Behind, though, there was plenty of jostling for position on the grid, and eventually it was Nikita Troitsky who has emerged to share the front row with Scott, although Amir Weidenathan, who we are following now, and his Carlin Motorsport teammate Devlin De Francesco were right in the hunt throughout qualifying. For Harrison Scott, the question is, can he continue this streak of victories? He's not been defeated since race one at the Hungaroring back in the first weekend of July, and he continues, despite having won the championship, to be right at the front of the field. His teammate Yanni Fitcher, the RP Motorsport team, again showing well. Fitcher, who finished on the rookie podium yesterday, had a very good weekend in Monza last time out, and that form continuing on to Jerez. For Guilherme Samaya, it's all about learning. The Brazilian driver who entered the championship with the Carlin team at Silverstone back at the start of September, getting nearer to the front with each and every meeting. For Thiago Vivacqua and the Campos team, it's been something of a frustrating weekend. Vivacqua 2 15th place starts. Eliseo Martinez in the Teo Marti Motorsport car. It, however, has been another very strong weekend. Martinez really coming on well as the season has unfolded, and he has worked with the team to find a setup that really seems to suit him and the car around the Jerez circuit. Whether or not he'll be able to translate that into a podium, we will find out over the course of the next 40 minutes or so. So the grid beginning to form up. Harrison Scott on pole position, doing what he always does, just sit there, wait for the countdown to tick onwards, and then prepare for the start, the formation lap, and then seeing if he can take another lights to flag victory over the 18-lap race distance. Although, if as yesterday we have the intervention of a safety car, then we may well revert to the time limit. Harrison Scott, 11 wins thus far this season. It's only Amir Weidenathan and Thiago Vivacqua who have also stood on the top step of the podium. For Nikita Troitsky, he has shared the front row with Scott on many occasions this year. He has been a very consistent podium finisher, and that's why he has got a reasonably secure second place in the standings. Second place again today will consolidate that, but for Troitsky, if he can get the jump on Scott off the line, maybe a victory on the cards. The same can be said for Devlin De Francesco, runner-up in yesterday's race. The Canadian having another very strong weekend. Didn't have the greatest time in Monza, but is picking up from where he left off at Silverstone when he got a brace of runners-up spots. Yanni Fitcher lines up in 4th place. The RP Motorsport teammate to Harrison Scott. Fitcher having switched squads ahead of Monza, and it really seems to be working for the German in terms of being consistently at the sharp end of the pack. 5th on the grid then for Eliseo Martinez and Teo Marti Motorsport. The team got the podium at Jerez 12 months ago with Harrison Scott behind the wheel, and they will be hoping Martinez can do the same again. Simo Laaksonen has been very rapid all weekend, and 6th place in qualifying doesn't really reflect actually just how good the Finnish driver has been over the course of the last couple of days. He may well be able to progress up through the order. Alex Karkozic, another driver who is very well overdue another trip to the outright race podium. It's just not come together consistently enough this year in terms of a good qualifying and a good race. He's had both, just rarely together. Amaya Vaidyanathan then from 8th on the grid, a fair amount of work for the Indian to do, and his 2nd place in the championship, his 3rd place in the championship is under a little bit of jeopardy. Good qualifying for Petru Florescu, leading the Fortec Motorsport charge. Starting from 9th on the grid, the Romanian forced into retirement yesterday after getting entangled with Daniel Liu, still looking for a podium. So here's the lineup in full then. Harrison Scott and Nikita Troitsky on the front row. Then Devlin De Francesco and Yanni Fittier row 2. Eliseo Martinez and Simo Laxonen on row 3 from Alex Karkozic and Amaya Vaidyanathan. The top 10 on the grid completed by Petru Florescu and Cameron Das. Then Tarun Reddy well up in 11th, and he shares the 6th row with Mateus Iorio for the Campos squad. Ben Hinchley some way down to start from 14th, so he shares row 7 with Christian Hahn. Then Thiago Vivacqua and Guilherme Samar will both hope to progress from the 8th row. The field completed by Pedro Cardoso and Daniel Liu on row 9, and then Lodovico Laurini and Daniel Pranenko completing the field. And they will both be hoping to gain some ground in the early stages of the race. This Jerez circuit is not the easiest to overtake on, but we did see plenty of passes yesterday, particularly in the midfield, as the race unfolded. However, it's going to be the first lap or so where they've got the greatest opportunity to make up ground quickly, although it is a short sprint uphill towards turn 1. The longest straight on the circuit being the stretch from turns 5 through to turn 6. About 600 metres or so down the back straight, with the slight elevation change as well before they then get into the technical final section of the lap. There is Pereira, the principal of the championship organisers, GT Sport. As he, like everyone else, will need to clear the grid momentarily as the countdown well underway before the cars get released onto the formation lap. They completed qualifying only about two and a half hours ago, so we'll just see how the track has warmed up in that intervening period. Drivers being shaded under the umbrellas until the last possible moment. It's going to be hot work for them out there on the track because there is really no scope for rest. A lot of mid-speed, long radius corners, lots of lateral G-forces going through the drivers. And this is one of those days where the physical fitness and the high-intensity training regimes that all these drivers undertake really starts to come to the fore. So the cars fired up, the grid being cleared. We are just a couple of moments away from the 14th race of the Euroformula Open season. Thank you very much for joining us today here in Jerez, as we have got 18 laps of entertainment to look forward to. Will Harrison Scott be able to make it a 12th victory of the season? Will there be a new name on the top step of the podium? We will find out in due course. So the grid is clear. The cars any second now will be waved away onto the green flag formation lap, as Harrison Scott leads them off the line. He looks to put a little bit of heat into the control compound, Michelin Tart, that they all run with. The drivers, of course, all equipped with the Dallara F312 chassis, and then the control engine and various other components supplied by the championship promoters, which helps to keep budgets at a very affordable level relative to the performance of these cars and the opportunity to go slicks and wings single-seater racing in the Pan-European Championship. That is why year upon year the Euroformula Open has bumper grids, and also a history of graduates going on to progress up through the motorsport ladder, most notably Ed Jones, of course, who had a very successful debut season in IndyCar. He may be will be followed into that championship by Santiago Urrutia, another Euroformula Open graduate. Now look then at the Drivers' Championship. Harrison Scott, the champion, and determinedly so, but it's really between Meir Weidenuythen, Yanni Fitje and Devlin De Francesco for third in the standings. It was Weidenuythen who made all the running early in the year, but Fitje and De Francesco have both been consistent podium contenders throughout the second half of the season. It was a good qualifying session for the DriveX team earlier, and they will be hoping maybe that it can translate into a first race win of the year as well for Nikita Troitsky. Field heading into the centre chicane now. Just beginning to bunch up. Scott doesn't want to wait for too long on the grid. So they come out the centre chicane. That will then feed them to the hairpin. That brings them back onto the start-finish straight, running along the back of the pits. So in terms of the cars to watch for on the line, well, you've got the grey, black and fluorescent orange car of Harrison Scott, the blue nose cone and white car of Nikita Troitsky, the all-royal blue car of Devlin De Francesco, and the similar car, RP Motorsport car of Yanni Fitje. The difference being that Harrison Scott has got a yellow, blue and white helmet, Yanni Fitje an orange and black lid. We would anticipate it's one of those four who's going to lead into turn one, given it is a relatively short sprint. But getting these cars off the line is absolutely key. As the last few cars head out of the final turn and then look to form up on the grid. Guilherme Samaya pulling across to his marks. The same for Daniel Liu. Once Daniel Pronenko is in position, we'll get the signal and we will go racing once more. Everyone's in place, the green flag is shown, so it's eyes to the gantry time for the 14th time this year in the Euroformula Open. The lights are on, they're out, and we're underway. And it's a good getaway from Harrison Scott, but Nikita Troitsky matches him as well, as the leading three cars from qualifying turn into the first corner in that order. Elizo Martinez, though, has jumped up to fourth. It's also been a reasonably good start from Meir Weidenuythen. He's threatening Simo Laaksonen as Yanni Fitje looks to the outside of Elizo Martinez through turn two into the left-hand sweep at turn three. They're all running and everybody's stayed out of trouble thus far. Alex Karkozic, meanwhile, up behind Laaksonen, and then it's Meir Weidenuythen. We've got somebody in trouble. It's Ben Hingley who is slowing, and Hingley may have been tagged by somebody. The Fortec car runs offline. Looking to see whether or not he's picked up a puncture. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, it's Scott, Troitsky, De Francesco, Martinez, Fitje, Laaksonen, as Tarun Reddy launches the inside of Cameron Das. The American sees him just in time. Petru Florescu part of that scrap as well in the red and white Fortec car. As the front runners, meanwhile, pound through the sequence of left-handers. Tarun Reddy continuing to battle with Florescu, then into the double right, and Troitsky trying to go with Harrison Scott in these early stages. Scott doing what he's done so often this year and trying to break the field early on. Oh, and problems behind one of the Campos cars, and I rather fear it's Mateus Iorio leaping across the curbs with a damaged front wing. And it is indeed the Brazilian. Another very disappointing first lap for him. Wouldn't be surprised to see Iorio darting into the pits at the end of this lap. Here is another look. Car launched up. The front wing was already damaged before then, but that won't have helped his chances. Meanwhile, Thiago Vivacqua goes wheel to wheel with Christian Hahn. Vivacqua momentarily ahead of his compatriot, but Hahn fights back to the inside. Nicely executed move. Vivacqua, though, immediately looks to retaliate. Iorio is in. Campos mechanics detach the damaged nose cone, put a new one on. They'll send Iorio back into the fray. He shouldn't lose a lap, and if there's a safety car, he'll be right with it as Vivacqua looks to challenge Hahn through turn 5. Also in and out of the pits is Ben Hingley. Oh, and there's more trouble over at turn 5. Daniel Liu through the gravel trap in the back of your picture. As at the front of it, Tarun Reddy briefly to the inside of Cameron Das. The white Campos car, the American, looks to challenge the Indian, swoops around the outside. Das regains the position. They're busy fighting over 9th and 10th places. they come out, the left-hander into the right, front of the field. Scott leads, 1.5 seconds clearing Nikita Troitsky. Then similar gap back to Devlin Di Francesco. Now here is Daniel Liu's moment. Did a good job, really, of holding it all together. Could very easily have rotated around. And Scott has further gapped the field through this second lap of the race. So he accelerates through and across the line. That lead looks as if it is much closer to 2 seconds. It is, in fact, 1.7 seconds. Gap between Troitsky and Di Francesco unchanged. Then it's Martinez and Yanni Fittier. They are busy fighting for the final spot on the rookie podium. And they've got Simo Laaksonen lining up behind them as well. Then a little bit of a gap in the traffic back to Alex Karkozic, Mayor Weidenathan and the rest of them. So they swing into turn 5 now. Cameron Dass also doing a good job of looking to bridge that gap to Weidenathan. Confirmation that Harrison Scott has just posted the fastest lap of the race. Not unsurprisingly, given the way that he is beginning to romp clear of the field. The rest of them all close up under braking. Weidenathan trying to apply a little bit of pressure to Alex Karkozic, because the way that things currently stand, Di Francesco and Yanni Fittier are going to be taking a big bite once more out of his 3rd place in the championship. Nikita Troitsky, 2nd position in the rookie win, is going to consolidate not only his rookie championship lead, but also to ensure that 2nd place in the championship is not under threat either. Towards the end of the 3rd lap, you're trying to close up to Eliseo Martinez, but for the time being, Martinez able to rebuff all challenges. Of turn 2 in towards turn 3. It's this battle for 4th, which is probably the closest inside the top 10 at the moment. They have got Simo Laaksonen, who was able to make very good progress in difficult conditions yesterday, able to carve his way up through the field. As Fittier needs to make a little bit of ground in the rookie championship. He's currently 4th in the rookie race. That would give him 4 points. And that would potentially make things very, very close heading into Barcelona. By my calculations, it wouldn't quite be enough to give the rookie championship to Troitsky this afternoon, but it would all but confirm things for the Russians. So Fittier needs to make some progress if he possibly can. There's the leading trio. Harrison Scott having maintained that advantage at 1.7 seconds. Doubtless he'll be able to just elevate his pace a little bit if Troitsky is able to get that gap closed down somewhat. Meanwhile, Troitsky trying to ease away from Devlin Di Francesco. Francesco just out over the curb on the exit of the hairpin. Then Eliseo Martinez in 4th position. Yanni Fittier in 5th. Simo Laaksonen in 6th. That trio of cars now just easing away from Alex Karkozic, Mayor Weidenathan and Cameron Dass. All 20 cars still running. Ben Hinchley, Matthias Iorio having made those 1st lap trips into the pits. Attempting to chase down Eliseo Martinez through turn 5, and just running a little bit wide there was Martinez, and this is the opportunity that Yanni Fittier's been looking for. The Spaniard was offline and Fittier should go through. He's got the inside line down the back straight towards the hairpin at turn 6, and that was well executed. Took full advantage of the mistake as Martinez just got onto the dirty rubber on the exit of turn 5. It compromised his exit speed, and now that Fittier's through, his next target is Devlin Di Francesco. And what we don't know is just what Yanni Fittier's raw race pace is like, because when you're in the turbulent air behind the car in front, can sometimes struggle a little bit to show what you're capable of. Immediately, though, Martinez into the clutches of Simo Laaksonen. Laaksonen, we saw yesterday, able to make some really good passing moves. So he closes up onto the Teo Martin Motorsport entry into the hairpin through to the conclusion of the 5th lap of the race. Sprinting along the start and finish straight, Yanni Fitcher. 3 seconds adrift of Devlin De Francesco, so it's a fair old exam question. He's got to try and chase down, but already daylight opening between himself and Martinez. Jose Martinez, though, under real threat now from Simo Laaksonen and Alex Karkozic just behind. Then a bit of a gap back to Amaya Vardenijthen, Cameron Das, Taryn Reddy. That battle having seemingly settled itself down. So the field punching the hole in the air into the braking zone at the hairpin. Laaksonen not able to chase down too much. Crucially, just ahead of them, Yanni Fitcher a little bit quicker than Devlin De Francesco through the opening sector of the lap. Trying to chase that gap down bit by bit. Fitcher again, quicker than De Francesco through sector 2. So he's just shy of 2/10 up on this lap. He's got enough laps to play with that fight could come together between now and the flag. And the real challenge here for Eliseo Martinez is not to drive with his mirrors, to make sure that Simo Laaksonen has to do all the hard work, as soon as Martinez starts defending, it's going to back Laaksonen up to Karkozic as well. Race leader Harrison Scott, imperious, building his advantage out to 3 seconds now over Nikita Troitsky. Troitsky and Devlin De Francesco separated by exactly 1 second. No differential in the pace between the pair of them. The problem is that once you get within a second of the car in front, that's where you start to get affected by the turbulent wake of these cars. The airflow over them can lead to a lot of buffeting. It means that as you get really close to the car in front, you just start to experience a little bit of understeer, and as you attempt to drive around it, then you start to ask more of your Michelin tyre. Again, though, Martinez living dangerously at turn 5. Now, turn didn't really compromise his exit, as Amaya Vardenijthen is also right up with Alex Karkozic. So this quartet of cars disputing 5th position. They're all closing up on each other. Vardenijthen the quickest of them last time around. So this could become quite an entertaining scrap. Meanwhile, there is absolutely nothing to choose between Nikita Troitsky, Devlin De Francesco and Yanni Fitcher. They've all come through the second sector of the lap within 1/10 of a second of each other. So those gaps remaining static on this occasion. Somebody snatches a break into the centre chicane. Best guess is Eliseo Martinez. It was, and now Simo Laaksonen right with Martinez again. Is he going to be close enough to challenge into the hairpin? Oh, he thinks about it again. Another little puff as Martinez got the car slowed down, and one suspects it's only a matter of time really before Simo Laaksonen is able to find a way past Martinez. The Spaniard looking to his mirror again for taking the line across into turn 1. And Simo Laaksonen doing what he did yesterday, which is just really being able to drive in that turbulent wake. He's been able to do it better than anybody in the field this weekend. Again, he's applying all the pressure to Martinez. It's turn 5 that has been the bogey corner for Eliseo Martinez. He's had 2 errors there in the past 3 laps. That a little bit better. Wasn't quite as precise on the apex as Laaksonen, but he didn't give away any ground either. So there's nothing Simo Laaksonen can do. Similarly for Amaya Vardenijthen behind Alex Karkozic. So this fight, the positions remain as they were. The gaps, though, just inching ever closer. Behind them, it's still Cameron Das in 9th. Taryn Reddy is 10th. Then just outside the top 10, Petru Fresco 11th. From Christian Hahn, Thiago Vivacqua 13th. Clem Smyer 14th. Daniel Lewin 15th. Lodrico Laurini Daniel Pranenko. Through the centre chicane again. It's this fun section on the lap where Laxton just appears to have the legs a little bit over Eliseo Martinez, but not that he's going to be able to challenge into the hairpin. 8 laps of the race now completed by Harrison Scott. And the same for this group of cars as they sprint through up towards turn 1. Sneaking down a couple of gears, Eliseo Martinez. Simo Laaksonen running right behind him. Peter Troitsky remains the rookie race leader in 2nd overall, pursuing Scott. Last lap, though, Devlin De Francesco in 3rd, a little bit quicker than Troitsky, and is inching towards him. He's now just 0.6 of a second adrift, as again Martinez just kicks up the dust on the exit of turn 5. Not in a way that's going to cost him. And these Euroformula Open cars, they've got such an abundance of grip available to them. Now, here is the fight for 2nd and 3rd, and the timing screen suggested it got close. The pictures suggest it's even tighter than that, as now Devlin De Francesco just trying to get through that crucial couple of tenths of a second. So we have a look at Lodovico Laurini challenging to the inside of Daniel Liu, and then slithering out wide. Chinese driver consequently able to reclaim the position. BVM team, watch and ponder. Mr. Francesco trying to find the way through that crucial turbulent air, those extra couple of tenths of a second that he needs to be able to try and make the move. That's really the challenge. So we've got some good battles now inside the top 10. Fight for 2nd and 3rd. Then this fight for 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th. Eliseo Martinez, so we're just over half race distance, doing an excellent job of withstanding the pressure for the last 3 or 4 laps from Simo Laaksonen. Meanwhile, Yanni Fitcher is now presented with an opportunity in 4th to reel in the battle for 2nd and 3rd as Troitsky and De Francesco start to battle with each other. Teo Martin watches progress from the pit wall. Martinez, who looked very good in Monza last weekend, has continued that this weekend here in Jerez. Really impressive performances. This is going to be a very tough race for him. Essentially, he's going to have a car underneath his gearbox for the entire 18 laps. Yes, of course, he can force an error from Simo Laaksonen, or indeed force Laaksonen to have driven through the best of his tyres. As the grip goes away from him, he might just begin to fall back. Meanwhile, Devlin De Francesco, 8 another 10th out of Nikita Troitsky's advantage through the middle sector. So the pair of them accelerate out of the hairpin on towards turn 1. Deficit from De Francesco to Troitsky. End of the lap. It's come down a little bit now. Laaksonen appreciably closer to Eliseo Martinez. This is as near as Laaksonen has been for a couple of laps. Is he close enough to have a challenge? No, he's not. Can he force the error from Martinez through turn 1? Maybe have a little bit of a look to the inside at turn 2. Not close enough, but he forces Martinez offline. The Spaniard just turns in a fraction of a second early. It all helps to make the case a little bit easier for Laaksonen, as Troitsky has just opened up a couple of tenths over De Francesco. This battle now almost 5 seconds adrift of the race leader Harrison Scott. De Francesco then tries to close up under braking. The battle for 5th about to arrive into the hairpin. That time round, Martinez doesn't defend at all from Laaksonen. This is really the key for Simo Laaksonen, is can he force Martinez just to go off the racing line a little bit, but as they've slowed themselves down, it is bringing Alex Karkozik into this scrap. Karkozik, having had Amir Vardeniefelen right with him a couple of laps ago, now just easing away from the Indian. So out of right-hander into the chicane. This is where Laaksonen is able to get right behind Alessio Martinez is he can really rely on mechanical grip. Martinez uses every inch of the road coming out of the centre chicane, and to good effect. Buys him a car length or so through the hairpin. Excellent, trying to square off the hairpin, just get on the power a fraction earlier down the start and finish straight. So across the line, through to the completion of the 11th lap of the race. The race absolutely flying by here. On the brakes to turn 2. That time around, Martinez doesn't turn in early. Here are all the aerodynamic forces at play through the chicane. It's just as they slow down to that sort of speed that you start to see the mechanical grip overriding the aerodynamic grip. It's a point on the track where the cars can feel a little bit unstable. Towards the hairpin then. Gap just 1 car length. Under braking, it will open up a little bit as they accelerate through turns 7 and 8. The brace of left-handers before turns 9 and 10. The right-handers, Samir Vaidyanathan in 8th position. And unable really to eat his way into this advantage. So Harrison Scott continues to lead. He's 5 seconds clear in Nikita Troitsky. Troitsky in 2nd position has just opened up a little bit of daylight over Devlin De Francesco in 3rd. That gap now just shy of 9/10 of a second. Yanni Ficci then 3 seconds back and not really making any inroads. And then it's a further 3 seconds to the fight for 5th, which is where we've been focusing most of our attention. Still in 5th, it's Eliseo Martinez. 6th, Simo Laaksonen. 7th, Alex Karkozic. 8th, Amir Vaidyanathan. In 9th place, but a further 3 seconds or so adrift, is Cameron Das. And then Tarun Reddy completes the top 10. 11th to Petru Threscu. 12th, Christian Hahn. 13th, Thiago Vivacqua. 14th, Guilherme Smaia. 15th, Lodovico Laurini. And then Daniel Liu from Pedro Cardoso, Daniel Pranenko, Ben Hingley and Matthias Iorio. So they're all still running, albeit with Hingley and Iorio somewhere adrift. As De Francesco tries to get a little bit closer to Nikita Troitsky. They set identical times through the first sector to the nearest 1,000th of a second, which gives an indication of just how evenly matched these two drivers are. It's the fight for 2nd place. De Francesco just trying to chip away at Troitsky's advantage. He's still got a few laps to play with here. And this has sometimes been the challenge for the Drevex team, is getting a car that really works all the way through the race. Last year we saw a few times Ferdinand Hausberg starting very brightly and then the car going away from him a little bit as the race unfolded. It's not been such a drama this year for Nikita Troitsky. But now, with just 5 to go, he's got to be careful not to drive with his mirrors. Indeed, he's not. There you see Troitsky fully focused on the job ahead, just looking through turn 1, focusing on the exit. The same for turn 2, he looks in early. Runs out over the curbs at turn 3, through turn 4. This is where Devlin De Francesco is going to struggle really to get that close to Troitsky. He's certainly not near enough to the Russian to mount a bid as they head out of turn 5 down the back straight, unless Troitsky runs wide, which he does not do. The gap between the pair of them is half a second at the end of the lap. It's gone out by 0.2 of a second through the end of the first sector. And this is the real challenge for Devlin De Francesco. He gets to within about half a second of Troitsky, gets into the turbulent air, and then just slips back. Carlin team can't really do much more than watch from the pit wall. It's all down to the man in the cockpit now. His efforts to overhaul Nikita Troitsky. And these laps reeling off very quickly. Now the turn 10 into the centre chicane. Flip-flopping through. Both drivers looking so poised in the cockpit, able to get the power down as early as they dare on the exit. The short sprint to the hairpin. across the line through to the end of the 14th lap of the race. And as they battle at the front of the field, Harrison Scott continuing to stretch away. It's now 6.6 seconds clear of Troitsky. Devlin De Francesco about 0.8 of a second back. That gap just opening up a little bit. Now, has De Francesco got anything left in the locker for a late race run at Troitsky? Here's the race leader, Harrison Scott, out of turn 5. This potentially going to be the 12th victory of the season for Harrison Scott, and it's going to be yet another clean sweep as things stand, in that it will have been pole position, fastest lap and the race win for Scott. It's through the brace of left-handers. And what's been so impressive about Harrison Scott this year as well is that his driving style has never looked hurried. He's always just on that balance where he's getting the most out of the car without it ever looking like it's going to break away from him. And that is something that's extremely difficult to achieve. We thought when Sandy Stuvik took the title in 2014 and that was a dominant year for the RP Motorsport squad, but it's nothing compared to the way that they and Harrison Scott have been the class of the Euroformula Open field throughout 2017. Again, De Francesco tries to close up to Troitsky under braking, but for now it would appear as if the Russian has got everything under control. Over the line they come. Nikita Troitsky inching ever closer to the Rookie Championship as a result of potentially another class victory. Meanwhile, Daniel Liu and Pedro Cardoso snatching brakes now. Surely Cardoso will have flat-spotted the tyre with that moment. Further back down the order, Thiago Vivacqua and Christian Hahn continuing to do battle. They are joined by Guilherme Samaya. So we've got the DriveX, Campos and Carlin cars running in the train. They've got Petru Florescu just ahead of them in 11th position. This is going to be another 10 points in the Rookie Championship for Nikita Troitsky. Yanni Fitcher looking as if he is going to collect 6 points. And that will leave them on drop scores 17 points apart. But if you take out the drop scores, then that leaves Nikita Troitsky 21 points clear. So effectively hands him the rookie title, given that Troitsky is the only one of the rookie contenders with another set of points to drop. So potentially a very significant race this for Nikita Troitsky is out of the hairpin. This battle still between Eliseo Martinez and Simo Laaksonen. Across the line they come. Then we have got Karkozic and Weidenreuthen still fighting through turn 1. And despite all this pressure from Simo Laaksonen, Eliseo Martinez has done an absolutely fantastic job of not being flustered, just keeping the trainer cars behind him, making them do all the hard work. And now, with just a lap and a half to run, looks as if that is going to be a job done for the Spaniard. He just needs to make sure that he stays out of trouble. Doesn't make any slips. Certainly the case through the hairpin. Just runs out a little bit wide. No particular dramas for him. Through the... Oh, somebody into the gravel trap. In the background, you could hear the sound. And there's a gap behind us on the road. I just wonder... Oh, it's Amir Weidenreuthen who's in trouble and is spinning up the rear tyres. And the car ground on the gravel. Weidenreuthen and Karkozic were alongside each other. Oh, and a problem as well for Pedro Cardoso, and suddenly on the final lap of the race we've got people hitting trouble. Now, did Weidenreuthen and Karkozik have a coming together? Well, here is Pedro Cardoso. We flat spotted a lap ago, and that time just loses power mid-turn, and Daniel Liu, left with nowhere to go, thumps into his rear of his car. So that is Cardoso in trouble and out of proceedings. Mayor Weidenreuthen in the gravel. You could hear it on the ambient sound that somebody had skittered off. None of it, however, is of any concern for Harrison Scott, who is about to claim his 12th victory of the Euroformula Open season. It has been another imperious weekend for Scott. 2 pole positions, 2 fastest laps, and provided nothing goes wrong in the next couple of corners, 2 race victories, and it's going to be another very comfortable margin of victory for Scott. Over 7 seconds clear of Nikita Troitsky. Out of the penultimate turn, through to the hairpin for the final time. Any suggestion that Scott was going to take his foot off the gas, having claimed the championship, has surely been cast aside. He celebrates and thanks the RP Motorsport team, takes the checkered flag and does the double in Jerez, with Nikita Troitsky taking 2nd position and the rookie victory from Devlin De Francesco. And Yanni Fitcher is going to finish in 4th. It's been a superb drive for Eliseo Martinez to take 5th ahead of Simo Laaksonen. Alex Karkozik finishes 7th, clear of Cameron Das and Tarun Reddy. And then Petru Florescu, having been under that pressure late on, he completes the top 10. Thumbs up from the Drivex team. They've done an excellent job this weekend for Nikita Troitsky, which puts him on the cusp, if not over the top, in terms of rookie championship victory. Harrison Scott, however, it has been an absolutely perfect day once more. He converted off the line, built that buffer in the early stages, and then as Troitsky and De Francesco sparred through the final third of the race, Scott was just able to open up into a very comfortable margin of victory. Disappointment late on for Weidenreuthen and Pedro Cardoso. Otherwise, a very clean race. The Euroformula Open, some good dicing. Nothing too untoward in the way of contact. So let's have a look then at the final classification. Harrison Scott wins it from Nikita Troitsky. Devlin De Francesco completes the podium. And Yanni Fitcher in 4th from Eliseo Martinez, Simo Laaksonen, Alex Karkozik. Cameron Das well up in 8th. And a good run as well for Tarun Reddy and Petru Florescu to complete the top 10. Christian Hahn driving very well to hold off Thiago Vivacqua and Guilherme Samar for much of the race. Lodovico Laurini making good progress in the back row of the grid to finish clear of Daniel Prunenko and Daniel Liu. Ben Hingley and Matteo Siorio damage on the first lap, and a disappointing race for them, with Mayor Weidenreuthen and Pedro Cardoso having trouble late on. In terms of the championship then, well, that retirement for Weidenreuthen proving very costly as Yanni Fitcher moves to 3rd in the standings. Devlin De Francesco jumps up to 4th. Simo Laaksonen also up to 6th, clear of Thiago Vivacqua. To a halt and more celebration for Harrison Scott. Perfect performance this weekend in Jerez. And he will head to Barcelona aiming to make it 14 victories from the 16 races this year. Big smile from Scott, and confirmation there. Nikita Troitsky claiming the rookie championship with that win and 2nd place. Devlin De Francesco, another podium, and he and Yanni Fitcher will have an entertaining battle in Barcelona for third in the championship standings. So lots of very happy drivers in Parc Ferme.
Well, second race win of the weekend, lights to flag win, impressive.
Yeah, no, yeah, unbelievable race. Managed to get off the line really well, and yeah, just from then I just pushed 100% the whole way, and the car underneath me was brilliant. Obviously, the work that Carlo's put in over the weekend, it was tough coming here with obviously the new tarmac. Made it tricky, but no, the car just got better and better the whole weekend, and yeah, no, brilliant result.
Congratulations, podium time.
Thank you.
Harrison Scott leading away from pole position once more as Nikita Troitsky slotted into second, and Devlin De Francesco claiming third as the pack charged towards turn one for the first time. Behind, there was plenty of jostling for position. They all made it through cleanly, although Matthias Yorio and Ben Hingley had a difficult first lap, both of whom had to pit in for repairs, and that cast them somewhere adrift at the rest of the field. Daniel Liu also had a race of adventures, including that huge moment coming out of turn 5. There were some great battles to be found throughout the field, not least the one for fourth between Yanni Fitcher and Eliseo Martinez, the German capitalising on a mistake from the Spaniard as they came down the back straight. Meanwhile, the battle for second and rookie honours was very tight between Nikita Troitsky and Devlin De Francesco, the Canadian pursuing Troitsky throughout the course of the race to no avail. Meanwhile, Ludovico Laurini had a good charge up through the tail of the field, including that move on Daniel Liu. For Harrison Scott, it was the 12th victory of the season, a clean sweep of the weekend, 2 pole positions, 2 fastest laps, and 2 race wins in Jerez. More celebration for the RP Motorsport team. For Nikita Troitsky, second place and the rookie win, enough to give him the rookie title with 2 races to spare. And Devlin De Francesco completing the podium. Anybody able to stop Scott in Barcelona? Very happy drivers taking to the podium. Third place to Devlin De Francesco, runner-up Nikita Troitsky, and race winner Harrison Scott to the top step of the rostrum once more. And RP Motorsport again taking Scott to victory.
Presidente de la Federación Andaluza de Automovilismo va a hacer entrega de ese trofeo acreditativo al tercer clasificado, al piloto.
On to the presentation of the trophies then. Third place to De Francesco. 2 trips to the rostrum for him this weekend. This has been the case indeed for the man who finished runner-up, Nikita Troitsky.
Hace entrega del trofeo al segundo clasificado, el piloto ruso Nikita Troitsky.
Huge cheers from the Drivex team underneath the podium. And there will be another roar to Harrison Scott. He hoists the winner's trophy aloft. Lots of supporters Scott here this weekend. And he has given them a double victory to celebrate.
De Harrison Scott, en honor de él, escuchamos el himno nacional de Gran Bretaña. aplauso para Harrison Scott.
British national anthem in honour of Harrison Scott, and with the formalities complete, it will be time to pose for the photographs and then make merry with the bubbly. Euroformula Open season concludes in 3 weeks' time. Circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya, which always produces some of the most interesting racing we have with the Euroformula Open season. But for now, that is in the distant future for the three drivers on the podium. They are more concerned with the celebrations. Three very happy drivers. They've been the class of the field this weekend, locking out the podium in both races. In a case of very much job done all around. So we'll turn our attention to the rookie podium. And in the way that Harrison Scott has been the class of the championship this year, Nikita Troitsky has been the dominant of the rookies, and he has wrapped up the rookie crown, because even on drop scores are taken into account, he's going to have more than a 20-point margin over Yanni Fitcher. Nonetheless, the German on to the rookie podium once more here in Jerez. Another fourth-place finish in the race outright for the RP Motorsport man. As the drivers get announced on to the rostrum, thumbs up from De Francesco. Fitcher into third place. Runner-up, the rookie podium today, De Francesco. And the victorious rookie, second overall, Nikita Troitsky. Huge cheers from the team as he takes his place on the top step of the podium. It's a good race-long scrap between Troitsky and De Francesco. The Canadian probing, asking all the right questions, but crucially couldn't get that extra couple of tenths of a second that he really needed to threaten Troitsky, and as a result, Russian able to hold on for the rookie win. He allows himself a big smile.
Fuerte el aplauso para el vencedor.
The Russian national anthem salutes Nikita Troitsky, the rookie champion for the 2017 Euroformula Open season. It's been an excellent weekend of racing here in Jerez. Harrison Scott continuing his winning streak, but as the drivers are about to make merry with the champagne, it's time to say goodbye from Jerez. We'll see you in 3 weekends' time in Barcelona.